Today, we are going to retrospectively line produce a Cat 3 film, specifically The Untold Story, aka The Eight Immortals Restaurant, The Untold Story. I'm not affiliated with the film, and I don't have a script to do a proper breakdown. We are just going to uncover the film as we see it, maybe do a couple scene breakdowns, and then get into the line items. Now, if you don't know, The Untold Story is based off an actual crime. It happened in 1985. It's a sad story having to do with unpaid gambling debt. The film is a fictionalized version of the story, but the filmmakers did try to work in as much of the actual story. Now, Hong Kong in the 90s, the film industry was booming. You had Wong Kar-wai and Christopher Doyle releasing introspective, beautiful masterpieces. You had Jet Li, you had Jackie Chan in their prime, you had gore, you had sleaze, and I can't help but to think that The Untold Story is a product of its time. And okay, we're 2 minutes in, and already things are crazy in this film. So there's a whole lot to do in this scene. So we're gonna do a breakdown. He's throwing gasoline on him, and we see some interesting home decor here. We have an oscillating fan. We have some beers, a gas canister. The beers are probably left over from the crew. I'm thinking maybe, here's my theory on this. This is maybe one of the last scenes of the film. They were drinking heavily the night before, and because they torched the set, there's really no going back after that. I mean, this fire looks pretty legitimate, and I think Anthony's wearing a wig here. I think that's a wig. What do you think? After the opening shot and sequence, we have this beach scene here, which is pretty close to how the actual crime happened in real life, how it was discovered. And we have these kids here who find this bag, and it's funny because this isn't a family-friendly movie at all, and I can't help but to wonder what they told these kids in the film. You know, what did the parents say to them? There's a cut there where it looks like they placed the body parts, but I can't help but to wonder that. Also, this kid's shirt says happy, which I think is an interesting little note there. After the kids run away, the police get involved. And we have some really interesting notes here and a bit of a mystery with this van that keeps appearing in the film. So we have some former Portuguese colony touches here with the policia, and here are our goofballs. They roll in. And we have the chief with his arm candy, and he has a lot of it in this film, so we're going to have to write some line items for that. And for me, really, the star of the show is this. What is this? Look at this beauty. I think it's a Mitsubishi Delica. Pretty sure, but you know what? I kept seeing this van, and it's a mystery now, and I have to do this quick side quest because I keep seeing it throughout the film. We have it in the background here with the blue vans. We also have it in the background of these shots. I think we're going to have to start a Delica counter to just track how many times we see this damn van. We have the wiki up right now. Looking at it, we have the 70s versions. Now you can see that they're working the idea through, right? You have these different variations, very practical uses like a camper, a flatbed truck, and it's getting better. It's getting better. Here's the pre-facelift versions. Went out to a lot of different markets. Here was the Australian one. Now we're entering the 80s. They're perfecting their craft. It's getting better and better. We have a brush guard version right there. Very nice. It's in the Philippines. And now a rescue version. These are a little rare. They're pretty rare. They're pretty rare, actually. We see one in the film. It makes an appearance. Really happy to see it. And then we have all these really great options right here. Just classic. It even comes in a dump truck version. You can't go wrong. You can haul all your crew in around in it. They're going to be happy. You need to make a run in this. They're going to be fine. Now, so 1986 really was the perfection. It was the third evolution. I think the final. And looks like I was wrong. They kept making them. So we have the fourth generation here. And maybe this is the start of the decline, start of the fall. I mean, look at these. These look terrible. What the hell is this? Guys. All right, RIP, 1986 version of the Delica. You'll be missed. All right, let's get back into it. On IMDb, the film is 96 minutes long, and if we take the general rule of 1 minute screen time equals 1 page script, then we have a 96-page script. The question then becomes, how many pages a day did they shoot? Well, indie productions can shoot anywhere from 5 to 7 to 10 pages a day. But for this one, let's go off something modest. Let's say 5 pages a day. And if we divide that by 96 pages, that becomes around 19 days, 19 total shoot days for this film. All of the locations are now broken up on Premiere, and we have the restaurant, which clocks in about 36 minutes of the film. So if we use our formula again, the minute per page, it comes out to be about 7 days. So 7 shooting days for this 36 minutes of screen time. We also have the police station, 19 minutes, 32 seconds, about 4 days. We also have the hospital, it's about 11 minutes, 2 days. The jail, about 12 minutes, 3 days, 6 days total. We also have the barbershop, the lawyer's office, this boat departures area, a trash dump, the beach scene, and the opener, the fire scene at the very beginning. There's also establishers sprinkled throughout. Really, really beautiful Macau, early 90s. You know, going back to try to find these establishers and what they currently look like today was a little tricky. I went on Google Maps and it was hard. Some of the maps were back from 2008. Here's one that was a couple years old. It's the kind of the best I could get, but no real video. Somebody took this photo. And then here is where where they think the actual Eight Immortals restaurant was located. So as you can see, it doesn't look like the coastal restaurant that they were filming at in the film, but that's to be expected. And we have Excel up. Now, you don't need anything fancy to do something like this. Really just a simple spreadsheet will work. One thing to note is I don't know how much everyone got paid. I don't know what sort of deals people made, but what I do know is we can go off of SAG's ultra low budget rate of $216 a day and apply that to the talent, but also the crew across the board. Now, some of the things we have to keep in mind is the amount of days. So we have like the 5 cops, we group those all together. We also have people like the script supervisor, the AD. We also have the models in there. That was the arm candy for the chief. Overall, not a lot of crew to put in for the line items. As we saw in the credits, there's just not a ton of people. And I suspect a little bit sometimes that maybe some of the crew was in the background of the shots. But it makes our life a little bit easier to do this exercise of putting some numbers together. One interesting note is we know that it was shot on film when we saw on IMDb. Really not sure how much film stock cost at the time. I know it was more popular, so there might have been more options. And this is just for the film stock, not for developing it. So when I was doing a little research, I was digging around. I went on to B&H, and on B&H it was around $327, and it's for a 400-foot roll. That gets you about 11 minutes of film, and with our 96-minute runtime, we're going to need about 11 rolls. And a couple more line items for art department and props and special effects. There was a lot in the film. We have some G&E, a little bit on the light side, but I didn't see many people in the credits for it. Also a van and some gas. And all in all, you can kind of think of this as a preliminary budget, just a rough estimate to kind of just get us going on this journey. So there we have it. Really a down and dirty budget. We put together some numbers. So if you wanted to make your own Cat 3 film, you have something to work with. On a personal note, I love watching films from this era. Sure, it may have some gratuitous violence, but I love that it's a time capsule. It really gives a sense of daily life. Not talking about the action and the scenes, but really the details around the frame. The clothing, the interaction between the people, and oh yeah, the cars. So, the Delicas. Here is our first Delica of the film. That's 1 point. Background, new blue van, we see a lot. That's half point. Background, half point. This is a full point right here. Crew walking by. Half point. 1 point here. To the left, half point. Deep background point, so 2 halves, so 1 point. Blue van again, white van, that's a point. Half point here. Okay, we have one to the right, that's 1 point. Brush car Delica, that's very rare in the wild, so that's a point. Got a point right here. Deep background, I'll give it a half point. Okay, and here we have a rescue Delica. Now, these are very, very rare and have legendary stats on them, so that's 2 points.
成為嗰個二啊！